marketing norms. I put this in here because I think that this does play an impact on how you're going to be handling your businesses abroad, especially if you're going to be dealing in major urban environments, I suppose. How's the message already being sent out to the customers and your target market? The most common is the 4 Ps. Product, price, placement, and promotion are the areas of marketing where you need to focus. We talked a little bit about the product already. The pricing is very important. Obviously, you want to create value for your customer. They can't get anywhere else. So how will you do that? And what is that price? Placement. Where can your customers get your product? It's not going to magically appear in their hands, so you need to be able to make it accessible at the right places at the right time. Promotion. How will you get the information to your customer that you have this product and that you are selling it, and what kind of value they can get from it. The other ways that they global community, business community puts this at the 4 Ps. They say SIVA, solution, information, value, and access. The 4 Cs is another one. I mean, they're all basically the same thing. These are the 4 areas that you need to address. So again, basically, how do you create value and how do you inform your customers? Your marketing channels are very important to consider, especially in an effort to go global. How does the product get from point of production to point of consumption? There's a chain of events that needs to be addressed. Is it a direct sale from the manufacturer to the customer? Is it a retailer where the customer will get the product? Is there a wholesaler that is involved and other agents involved in the transaction to get that product into the consumer's hands? This again we will cover when we get to the logistics, but is there transportation involved, things of that nature. Channel map. What I mean here is that your brand that you are building is for what? Are you a branded retailer, Pacific Sunwear, for example? Are you a branded marketer, where you will be buying products, slapping your name on them, and selling those products? Or will you be a branded manufacturer where you have products specifically made for you that you will be distributing? What channels do you use to access your customers? What are your points of sale? There are a couple graphics here, if you can see. One is a kiosk. That's common in Latin America, Brazil, Argentina, things like that. It's common in the United States too, but I don't think to the same degree as they are in other countries in Latin America. Also a street vendor selling basically out of looks like his truck, a trailer, he's selling something. In some countries where you buy certain products and services may seem unconventional to a foreigner, but to the natives it may be the cultural norm. It's important to consider. A lot of countries have home-based businesses where people will be selling products that they buy, cleaning supplies and things like that, out of their home. So if you need to get a mop or something, you can go a few doors down. They won't have so many Walmarts and things like that in some countries. So what is the access? Where are the products being sold at? And in your distribution channel, how will you access those points of sale? An example that I put here is a knife sharpener example. When I was in South America, I was hearing this sound. It sounded like a Peter Pan pipe. If you've seen the movie Peter Pan, he was playing this flute type sound, and I couldn't make out what it was, and I asked somebody what it was, and they told me that it is a knife sharpener, who is someone that travels around with a stone wheel on their bicycle and plays this sound to get attention, and then converts his bike into a sharpening device where he takes the knife and sharpens, all your kitchen knives. I say that because it's not very conventional in the United States. We don't really see people riding around on knife sharpener bikes selling their service. So points of sales is important to consider. Competitors and benchmarking. If you want to exist, you got to use benchmarking. It's very hard to be profitable when you're not. I showed in one of my previous presentations the frontier where you will be profitable, and if you're not on that edge, you are operating in an inefficient region. That takes into consideration using benchmarking, so it's very important. What are others doing that seems to be working? So that's supposed to be seems to be working. Early mover advantage is very important, and you want to reduce R&D costs as much as possible. One way that you can reduce R&D costs is if you find something that works, you adopt the practice. So that's important. The macro versus the micro environment analysis. This kind of goes into the strategy, but also when you are talking in terms of your product, what kind of impact will your product have on the macro and the micro environments? The macro environment, you could do what's called a Pressel analysis, which is the political, economic, social, technological, legal, and ecological areas. Basically, when you bring your product, factory, service, what have you, into a new country, how will it change these conditions? When Facebook came in, it had a major impact on the social environment. So, obviously it impacted more than just that, but as an example of how it affects these things. Ecological, one concern is papeleras, which are paper factories. In some countries they are still building these large paper factories, which more often than not have a negative impact on the local environment, in terms of creating litter, creating toxins to the system, and they're overall not so healthy for the environment. So that's a consideration to make. The microenvironment would be the people who are directly using your product, your customer. Your product will obviously have an impact on your employees. If they're selling this product and making money, it's good for them. Your suppliers, and also the media. Can they talk up this product? How will it change that?